Ezra Keats was a writer and illustrator best known for his book, The Snowy Day, which marked the beginning of multicultural children's literature in picture books. Keats was born Jacob Ezra Keats on March 11, 1916. His mother Augusta and father Benjamin came to the United States to escape anti-Semitism. They met through a matchmaker and married. Once established in Brooklyn, New York, they had 3 children, May, Kelly, and Ezra. At an early age, he knew he wanted to be an artist, but his father was concerned that he was not going to be able to make a living. During the Great Depression, Keats painted portraits of his parents and others which show how they were struggling. Keats entered Thomas Jefferson High School in 1932. There, he met Martin Pope, who became his longtime friend. While in high school, Keats perfected his art and was encouraged by his teacher to enter a contest representing his high school in a national scholastic art competition. He won first prize for his painting Shantytown and a full scholarship to the Art Student League in Manhattan. Unfortunately, his father died a few days before, and he had to put off college and work to support his mother. Keats would work during the day and continue painting at nights. Later, he worked for the Works Progress Administration painting murals. He also illustrated comic books. In 1943, Keats joined the war effort. His job was to design murals for the army. At the end of the war, there was still anti-Semitism in America. As a Jewish man, Keats realized that it was going to be difficult to find a job. At that time, many Jewish people changed their names in order to find jobs. In February 8, 1948, he changed his birth name to Ezra Keats. Keats always wanted to go to Paris. In 1949, Paris was a place for artists. To his surprise, people there admired and bought his paintings. He was planning to stay in Paris for 3 months, but with the money he earned from his paintings, he was able to stay a year. When he returned home, he did illustrations for well-known magazines and illustrated children's books. He illustrated a book written in English and Spanish titled My Dog is Lost, featuring a Puerto Rican boy. Another book, Jubilant for Sure, was awarded Best Illustration in 1954. These books encouraged Keats to write his own. He came up with the idea of Snowy Day one day while reminiscing with his friends about their childhood. When reading the book, he realized that there were not many books featuring African American children. He was inspired by a picture of a little boy that he found in a Life magazine. He named the boy Peter. The Snowy Day won the Caldecott Prize in 1962. However, with the ongoing civil rights movement, it resulted in both negative and favored reactions. Among the positive opinion was Langston Hughes, who saw Peter as, quote, perfectly charming little boy. The reaction of parents and children was also overwhelmingly positive. Many children saw themselves represented in Peter. Keats created wonderful stories about Peter in other books as well. All of his books are based on his personal experiences growing up in Brooklyn. Keats understood that life in Brooklyn could be tough, and he painted it just that way, with graffiti, dirty streets, and danger. But in spite of the appearance, he made it look more beautiful and interesting with the bold and bright colors. His books are about experiences that children can relate to, such as learning how to whistle, having a baby sibling, being the new kid in the neighborhood, or the happiness of missing school because there is snow outside. Keats' characters were children he never had. Peter His first eventually had a dog named Willie and whistled for Willie, and had a little sister named Susie in Peter's chair. Peter grows up with loving and caring parents. Along with Peter, Keats introduces other characters such as Louis in The Trip, a story of a lonely boy who travels in an imaginary airplane. Lewis portrayed Keats as a child. The Trip eventually became a musical. Whistle for Willie became a film in 1967. Keats both wrote illustrated 22 books and illustrated more than 63 others. His books were translated into many languages. They are still relevant today because they portray children of different backgrounds. Children identify with the urban life in the cities, the neighborhoods, their childhood experiences, and the adventures of the protagonist. All of the characters eventually recreated Keats' neighborhood growing up as a child in Brooklyn. Ezra Keats died on May 6, 1983, but his books will continue to have an impact on children all over the world.